The Rock Your Comeback audiobook, written by Nichole Eaton, recorded by Nichole Eaton. Introduction. My preschool class pet was a beige and white hamster named Buttons. Buttons was your typical classroom pet. He ran happily on his wheel, lapped water from his drinking tube, and munched on seeds and nuts. The best part, Buttons had a clear ball that allowed him to run freely around the classroom, bumping into the chair legs as if competing on some obstacle course TV show. Buttons would have kicked ass on the show Wipeout. Our entire class was thrilled to have our very own pet. Considering I didn't have my own pet at home, I was extra ecstatic. Each weekend was a chance for a lucky classmate to take Buttons home. When my designated weekend finally arrived, I gleefully gathered his crate, his magic freedom ball, and Buttons' adorable furry face, whisking him off to my two-story home on 10th Street in a small upstate New York town. We were a match made in hamster heaven. Buttons was just as stoked to be in my home as I was to have him. Holding him up, I showed him around, explaining that the sunroom was under construction. I turned on all of the lights for him because, well, he couldn't reach, and I was certain he was just as scared of the dark as I was. We snuck into my sister's room so he and I could giggle at her new kids on the block shrine. Buttons loved my room the most. He, too, was a huge Holly Hoppy fan. In the evening, I helped my mother with dinner, putting Buttons in his plastic ball so he could run wild and free through the open concept kitchen and dining room. After dinner and getting ready for bed, I tucked him into his little home. He nestled into the wood shavings and fell fast asleep. That night, I dreamt about Buttons, hoping he was also dreaming about me. The next morning, I excitedly raced downstairs to reunite with our furry house guests, skipping the last few steps by sliding down the banister. I opened Buttons' cage to find him completely still. Y'all, I killed Buttons. After first screaming at the top of my lungs for my mother to do frantic hamster CPR, I realized his poor little body was stiff and no amount of tummy pushing was going to make his tiny heart beat again. Now take 5 seconds to imagine stepping back into pre-K on Monday morning and being the kid who killed the class pet. Although I will defend myself by saying my teacher determined he did die of natural causes, I like to believe it was simply the rush of excitement from the perfect night before and he died a happy little hamster. After failing to convince my mother to invest in a Buttons impersonator, I graced the classroom with my presence, hoping the words hamster murderer wouldn't be engraved on my forehead. I was sad. I was guilty. Maybe I'd fed him too many snacks. I prepared myself for a day full of angsty classmates and refused to make eye contact with anyone for a solid week. Many of the kids were sad. Some cried. My poor, unexpecting teacher was forced to give an impromptu lesson on death and dying. And although I had been fully prepared to defend my non-hamster killing, grieving self, at the end of the day, I didn't need to. A few kids in the classroom wouldn't play with me at recess, but other than that, life went on as it does. Now, what does this have to do with comebacks? I'll tell you. For my young self, preschool had made its mark as my very first incident to come back from. A comeback is traditionally tied to the sports player or entertainer who comes out of retirement, but in this book, a comeback is the reconnection to your inner voice, allowing you to come back to who you are inherently. The one who knows you can have more, feel more, and be more. It's the activation of your authenticity, your deeper truth, and especially after a period where you've felt broken, lost, or stuck. Your comeback is an alignment of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, a spark of imagination to dream up who you're capable of becoming. It's a compassionate dismantling of every bullshit inner story keeping you from being happier. Your comeback will amplify your inner strength, intuition, and creativity. In your comeback, you will remember who the fuck you are, a force, an extension of the universe, and most importantly, the designer of your best life. How do you know you need a comeback? Oh, you'll know. But in case you're not sure, here are some clues. When the things that once brought you joy no longer do. If you've gone through loss, breakup, layoff, or any major life change. When you've simply started to recognize the path you've chosen, the personality you've identified with isn't fulfilling or doesn't feel right anymore. And as my friend, author of Not Another Diet book, Heather Mayo says, when you're no longer okay with living a life that just feels okay. This book is both for those currently in a dark place and those who are just feeling like life could be better but aren't sure where to start. The truth is, we never know what challenges life will bring us. This book is equipped to meet you wherever you're at. Our journey on this earth is filled with highs and lows. Our job is to use the lesson from the lows to become a better version of ourselves. As author Marshawn Evans Daniels wrote in her book, Believe Bigger, Discover the Path to Your Life Purpose, disruption is the invitation. Chaos is a time to reconnect with yourself. It's an invitation to step back into your power or into a better version of yourself. Coming back to yourself is the key to success. It's not about never getting knocked down in the first place. You would have to hide out in your parents' basement with a lifetime supply of cup of noodles to avoid life's valleys. Even then, I'm sure the universe would send in a tsunami or some other disaster to push you out of your comfort zone. Showing back up to your life or rebuilding yourself after you feel like your world has been burnt to the ground is about knowing you're worth coming back to. There's so much possibility left. Resurrecting yourself can be challenging, but I promise you, it's possible. Whatever has been weighing on your heart that has you breaking into pieces, whether it's a big move, a big loss, a rejection, a tragedy, or disease, I'm telling you right now, you can come back from it. You are not stuck. You are not lost. You are not weak. You are not damaged or broken. You are a damn miracle. You are an extraordinary power. You are the universe wrapped in a meat suit. Gross, but accurate. I promise you that no matter how far you've gotten away from yourself or your power, I will give you the mindset shifts and tools necessary to rise back up better than before. Each part of this book helps with a different aspect of your comeback. The different parts work together, building and combining different ideas and skill sets. The part in the dark will help you manage the tough emotions and understand the purpose of challenging times. The part where you question everything will help you examine perceptions, beliefs, and patterns of behavior that may be keeping you stuck. The part where you undo will give you actionable tools to start changing your mindset. The part in the light will help you understand the role of universe, energy, and intuition in your transformation. And lastly, the part where you create will give you the actionable steps to combine the power of the mind with the power of the universe to shift your energy towards creating a life that you love and becoming the best, most powerful version of yourself. That's the goal of your comeback, after all, stepping fully into who you are and who you're always meant to be. Making choices that feel aligned and in your highest good. Feeling that you control your life rather than it controlling you. Oh, and by the way, I'm Nichole. I'm a master's level mental health counselor who has mastered my intuition. I take a really unique approach to helping clients change their minds and reactivate their souls. I've spent over a decade working with people one on one to show them their power, reconnect them with their authenticity, and help them hear and trust their intuition. I'm obsessed with neuroscience, yet equally gripped by the mystical and magical. I've been up close and personal with the deep truth, vulnerabilities, and challenges of being human. If there's one thing I know well, it's people. I deeply believe in practicing what I preach, and I know these practices I'm about to share with you are life changing. I know this because they've changed my life too. They've pulled me out of some of the darkest places that I lovingly refer to as black holes. This book is what I needed to hear in each phase of my personal comeback. I've compiled the practices I know work and the reminders that have not just helped my clients, but also morphed me into the person I am today. A recovering people pleaser who now sets boundaries and stands unapologetically in her truth. A person who was once crawling out of her skin with insecurities to someone who is confident and sure of herself. A young mom who went from receiving government WIC checks to be able to feed her baby to someone who now has enough abundance to help others. Most importantly, a woman who was buried knee deep in her own depression to a woman who is now deeply, genuinely happy. I've learned how to love both myself and the life I live. You get to change your life too in whatever way you feel called. I promise to teach you from every angle how to step back into your power, be more yourself, and feel more alive than you have in a while. I'd be doing you a major disservice to not tell you all my secrets. I don't gatekeep. Whatever you're up against, I know that with your resiliency and inner strength combined with my master's in mental health and spiritual expertise, together, we're unstoppable.